Alright, folks, a true pleasure to have you back with me one more time. Your friend, the Genius Marketer. In the previous video, we spoke about the routes to wealth most people embark on in order to achieve their goal of financial freedom. Now, in this video, we're going to discuss the entrepreneurial mindset that is needed that will allow you to achieve eventual financial freedom. When you utilize this mindset in combination with the systems and methods and techniques you will learn inside of the Genius Ultimate Marketing Power Pack, it will be truly hard for you to lose. Let's discuss some important points that make up this incredible mindset. Number one, you take action. Now, we all know how very easy it is to procrastinate and put things off to a later date. If you want to be successful, this is a habit that you must eradicate immediately. You don't want to talk about it more than necessary or think too much before you move. Be a person of now and take action immediately. The worst that can happen is that you achieve your goal much quicker than if you delayed. Number two, you embrace failure and recover quickly. I firmly believe that you should run headfirst into failure as quickly as you possibly can. The quicker you fail, the quicker you learn what not to do, and then the quicker you can focus on doing only the right things to move steadily ahead of the pack. Embrace failure. Do not run from it. It will only make you stronger. Number three, you're resourceful, solution-oriented versus problem-oriented. Basically, you look at the world as though there are no problems, only solutions. Whenever you are faced with a challenge, you always work out in your brain how you can overcome the challenge rather than succumb to it. You may have to do something that you probably never anticipated, but once you do achieve overcoming the obstacle, you can feel truly gratified in your resilience to it. Number four, cash flow is important to you. You understand that due to inflation and other forces, the value of money gets less and less, and that savers are ultimately losers. And you constantly have to keep the cash machine flowing in order to keep ahead of everyone else. You need to devise methods and techniques that constantly and consistently ring the cash register over and over again. Number five, you never ask for permission to do something. You've already designated yourself to be someone who is in charge of their own destiny, and you can't stand the idea of anyone telling you where to go and when to be there. You move to the beat of your own drum and at your own pace, whether it is fast or slow. Number six, you're fearless. In your mind, there isn't a circumstance that cannot be beaten. You aren't afraid of the unknown. In fact, you fully embrace it, ready to meet it and take the bull by the horns. Number seven, you understand and welcome change. You are well aware that the one constant that we can always bank on is change. Change is inevitable and is necessary. You have to be willing to adapt and stay flexible in order to counter all changes, anticipated and unanticipated. Number 8, always up for the opportunity to overcome a challenge. Without challenges, you get complacent and stuck in your ways. This is never good, as this can lead to stagnation that drives you in a negative direction. You constantly seek out new challenges to keep you on your toes and fully engaged in the game. Number 9, you stand apart and out from the crowd. You crave your individuality and you don't want any parts of blending in with the crowd. You get bored being just like everybody else, and it feels unrewarding to you. It is your strong desire to stand out and be recognized for everything that you do. Number 10, you're a great listener. The Creator gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. That reason is you should always listen more and speak less. The more powerful your listening skills, the more your business will benefit, as you can find and understand the causes to people's problems and then quickly devise solutions around those problems. You will always also listen to ideas outside of your own head and then use these ideas to further your business. Number 11, you focus on the important and discard the rest. There are 1,000,001 things you will constantly be bombarded with when you are trying to achieve success. Endless email, endless propositions from both the left and the right. Your goal here is to focus and discard, or at the very least, delegate to somebody else. If you do not focus on that one aspect of your business that will bring you the most amount of profits or benefits, you will basically find yourself moving nowhere fast. Number 12, you understand the concept of time. You know that money can be made and lost only to be made all over again. You see, while money is always refillable just like a cup, time, however, is not. It is irreplaceable, and once it is gone, you understand that it is never coming back. You basically never want to waste it, and on top of that, you make the most of every opportunity and every moment because you understand that time is the most precious resource you have available to you, and you value it highly. Number 13, you are ready to break the rules if necessary. Sometimes the path to success isn't always black or white or so cut and dry. A certain Mr. Arnold Schwarzenegger said, "You can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. Sometimes you have to break the rules." You yourself find that you are not afraid to buck the status quo if necessary, because your success is more necessary than the status quo. Number 14, you understand that passion for whatever endeavor is super important. Passion is the driving force behind you wanting to be an entrepreneur in the first place. They say that when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. You basically can see yourself doing it for free if it truly came down to it at the end of the day. Number 15, you are keen on the numbers that govern your business. You know that numbers are very important. How much you spend, how much you make, how much is your overall profit, how much taxes, etc. It all adds up at the end of the day, and you realize you have to be on top of it in order to maximize your business. Number 16. You are always learning something new each and every day. The person who isn't constantly learning is pretty much considered dead. There is always something new to learn that you didn't know previously, and you should make it one of your precious goals to learn a new tidbit of knowledge, skill, technique, etc. each and every single day that you're alive. This will keep you fresh and relevant and will always have you ahead of the curve. Number 17. You are always thinking outside of the box. The box can be a very restrictive place which doesn't allow for much expansion beyond its bounds. If you want to tackle larger than life problems, you usually have to place your thinking cap on outside of it in order to conquer and resolve the issues. Number 18. You are ready to be uncomfortable if it advances your business. Sometimes you may have to do what you don't want to just for the sake of advancing your business forward. You may, for instance, have to jump on a plane and go cross country for that big meeting. A phone call or email simply just will not do. Only a face-to-face. Or you may even have to approach that stranger on the street right then and there and strike up an important conversation. These are critical decisions and actions you may have to undertake from time to time in order for you to make positive things happen. Number 19. You understand the concepts of both short and long-term vision. You realize that there are things that can happen immediately in your business and some things that can be nothing else other than a 5 to 10 year game plan. You are well aware of this and you plan and execute accordingly depending on the time play at hand. Number 20. You are ready to adapt if needed. You understand that things may not always go originally as planned, and you may have to just pivot and drive things in a new direction in order for you to stay afloat. It's okay. This is a common occurrence in the scheme of doing business. If you stay stuck in your ways and you don't adapt to the threat, you will ultimately fail, and fail hard. Number 21. Whatever happens, good or bad, you are responsible. You may be great at taking all the credit when something good happens, but at the same time, you never allow or pass off the blame to anyone else when something bad happens. Everything, for better or for worse, you understand is on you. For example, let's say you loan the car out to an employee and then he comes back to take a trip with both of you in the car and it runs out of gas on the highway. It's really your fault. You should have made it your responsibility to ensure that gas was in the car for the next trip. Don't say that he's at fault just because he's the driver. Ultimately, it is your car. Number 22. No excuses. A wise man told me once, the only one who cares about your excuses is yourself. Another wise man once said, excuses are nothing more than tools of the incompetent used to build mountains of nothingness. For every excuse that you have or can come up with, I bet you can find 100 people who just don't care about it. You recognize that it is your job to not be full of excuses and to ultimately just get the job done, period, whatever that job is. That pretty much wraps up this video. In the next video, what I will be discussing is why having a home-based internet business is one of the greatest opportunities you could ever look to get yourself into in the 21st century. Till the next time, folks.